Hey everybody, welcome back to the good old saw shop. We are here, we are working, and we're figuring out this partner P42 one step at a time. And the way I'm doing this one is I'm solving 3 problems and creating 6 more. You guys know the deal. Today's video, I've made some progress. Let's talk about what I've done to this saw. And my inbox on my email absolutely lit up over the last few days since I dropped the last video. Some of you guys out there are real sharp, and you guys said, wait a minute, if you did that, you just created this problem, that saw's not going to run. I was hoping some of you would catch that. Anyhow, welcome back. It's snowing again. We got a couple inches of snow on the ground, and I still got to finish sheeting my wood shed. I have the material in the back of my good old F250, and I haven't touched it all week, friends. Instead of working on that yesterday, took my wife and my daughter, and we did some Christmas shopping, and there's a mall in Winnipeg with a play area, and little Charlie loves to go just absolutely orangutan and play in that play structure, so that's way better than working on saws. Anyway, in this guy's opinion. Okay, today's video, let's talk about, you guys noticed a couple things that were wrong or that I hadn't got to yet. Remember, friends, a lot of times I shoot video and I just kind of leave it how it is. I'll do the fine work off video. Oh, another shout out to BMA, Big Mustache Al. I'm a huge fan. Those of you that don't know about old BMA is, well, he could be a neighbor of mine. He is on the Quick Dick McDick channel, and well, I think Quick Dick McDick is a Canadian hero, so if you guys haven't seen that channel, check it out, and BMA is on there. And I'm going to follow that up with a question for you guys out there. I have had this conversation with several guys that I've met through YouTube, guys that are located all over North America. It seems that there is a rule, okay? Hear me out here, friends. In my own life, if you're an old timer, if you're over 50, 60, 70, and you got a big mustache, your name is Al 98, 99% of the time. Every guy I've ever met with a big mustache is also named Al. It's very strange. Very, very strange. Comment below. Is that true everywhere? Because it seems to be true in a lot of places in the United States. If you got a big mustache and you're over 50, your name's Al. 99% of the time. Every dude I've known with a big mustache in my life has also been named Al. So, BMA, it's just the way it goes, isn't it, buddy? Anyhow, friends, I'm going to bring you guys in. Let's check out the boost port. I've got it finished. And a bunch of you guys noticed on the last video that it was opening too late. Well, I'll show you guys where I'm at with that, how to line up your boost port, and then I've created a problem and also a solution. In the last video, you guys noticed something about the wrist pin, and something that was now going to happen if I ran it stock. So anyhow, let's look at the boost port. We'll put a ring in there. We'll check it out, and then let's look at the wrist pin and the gudgeon if you're on the other side of the world. Let's look at the gudgeon and see what problem I've created. I got my 9 million candle power flashlight. Friends, if you don't have one of these, wow. I can light up my tree line, because if you live in the dark like I do, if you live in the country like I do, BMA's probably agreeing with this. If you live out in the prairie flatlands like I do on the west side of Manitoba, you can't see your hand in front of your face. It is that dark here. And this thing is cat's meow. It's also great for filming YouTube. So anyhow, here is there's like crackling going on in the ceiling of my shop. Probably a mouse up there. Anyhow, here is our boost port. It's not bad. It's pretty smooth now, okay? It looks a little lopsided. We'll see how flat it is. There it is through there, okay? Okay, 9 million candle power. Here you go. Okay, now that's all freehand, friends. If you have a mill, you could do a better job than that, I guarantee. I do not have a mill. I've looked at a mill 56,000 times, but the problem is I don't have enough space to put a mill anywhere in this shop. So I have enough power in this shop, but I just don't have enough space. Okay, so in our attempt to just go all out, because I don't know, I get bored out here, especially in winter. Not a lot going on out here in the winter. There's no farming going on. There's no nothing going on out here. It's quiet. I don't ride snowmobile anymore. Can't keep my darn hands warm. And although I look at them all the time and I'm like, I should buy that. And then I go, no, I'm good. Okay, so why not, weld the cat to the dog this winter and make your partner Pioneer chainsaw go fast. Okay, I hope you guys can see that. There you go. I'm going to take the 9 million candle power light off there. Okay, so if I grab this screwdriver here, okay, look, it is right in line. Nothing's grabbing there. That mouse is driving me nuts, friends. I can hear it, and it's like crinkle, crinkle. Now, look, okay. It's about a half a degree, maybe a full degree. I'm going to leave it like that now. I can always raise this up. I can't lower it, right? So it opens just before the upper transfers, okay? Remember, and you're looking at it like this. Okay, so piston comes down, opens, piston will clear the boost port, and then clear the transfer ports, okay? So boost port, transfer ports. That's what's going on there. If you look at any of the two-stroke tuner handbooks, the ones by Bell, etc., that's generally what they describe, okay? So you want to go exhaust, boost port, transfer ports. There was a comment in the last video, and someone said, I heard from a guy who said boost ports don't do anything. Well, I mean, I guess that's a kind of a open-ended statement. Here's my thing with all this stuff, guys. Experience your own stuff. I'm just here to entertain you guys when you're in the house or in your shop. A lot of you guys watch me from in the shop. Do your own thing. The old timers, the guys that know how to wrench, like around here, the farmers, they know because they've been doing it forever. And there's just, the more stuff you work on, the more stuff you build, the more stuff you'll be able to work on. So again, let's see if this little shallow boost port actually does anything. I mean, will it work on this saw? I don't know. Will it work on another saw that's different than this? Maybe. Every saw is different, and it's depending on the numbers you pick and the porting you're actually going to do. I think I changed my mind on the timing numbers. We'll probably talk about that in the next video. I think I'm going to make this thing stupid because, well, it's long winter, and this could be fun just to wake up the neighbors that are a mile down the road. Okay, so you guys get the idea. There we go. Okay, so we have a boost port. Now, again, friends, this is just my spare piston. If you are going to do this, make sure that your ring ends, okay, your locating pins, there's one here and one there. I'm only using one ring on this saw. Make sure that the pin is not going to hit, okay, is not going to hit your transfer port. I think we're okay. It's I flared them in and then back up. Okay. It's real close, but see where it enters at the bottom. Focus. Okay, where it enters at the bottom is pretty much lined up with the top, okay? So, we don't really have, I don't think we're going to have an issue with that. It's going to be close though. But again, I wanted this boost port as wide as I could get it. I think we're going to be okay, friends. We may not be though. So what are we going to do here? Well, let's take this piston and put everything back together and cycle it and see what happens. Give me a second here. Okay, grab this. Okay, cylinder goes this way. If you guys look, I've inserted one ring. And now what I'm going to do is grab this, put it in here. Okay. Try and do this to make it look like I know what I'm doing. Okay, I'll try from the other side. Not to bore you guys with the details, but these are the days of our lives. Is that show even still on? Interesting. I cannot get this thing in to save my life. Friends, give me a second. You guys want to laugh? Why wouldn't this fit on there? Because I was using the wrong piston. Remember? I had to grind on this thing to get the piston to even fit. Well, that was the wrong piston. Hence the reason why I couldn't slide it on there. I thought I was starting to go a little loopy here. Okay. Put this down. Now I'm just going to rotate this very slowly. Okay. Gently. Make sure that it doesn't catch anywhere. Maybe polish up that bore a little bit. Okay, there we go. It's not going to catch. I've had ones that are so close that I can barely assemble the saw. That 394 I just built, that Nutso 394, remember how big I made those transfers? Well, to put the saw together, you got to run the ring through the transfer. Well, I got that saw locked up several times trying to put it together because the rings wouldn't roll through the transfers. So, I think we're good. No damage. Nothing looks like it's going to hang up. So, okay, I'm just going to take this ring off. This is my mock-up ring. I think it's 47.6 millimeters. Okay, so there's my transfer, my boost port, which is nothing more than an extra transfer. Now I'm going to bring you guys off the stand. Okay, friends, here's the problem. Oh, look, you can see it. You can see that transfer port I created. See it? Let's aim it in there. You can see that transfer port through, okay? See the top of it there? Okay, I'm going to put you back in the stand. That's a serious problem. Okay, so you guys saw that, right? Well, my inbox on my email lit up last week from that. Guys were like, Tin Man, you made a huge mistake there. I get that you had to grind that boost port in the center like you did, but and there's other models of this saw, this chassis, that actually have a boost port there. But what you made a mistake on, Tin Man, is when the piston's going down or up, you've just created a passage where the bottom end, okay, as that piston's going down, it's squeezing everything out of the bottom end up, right? And as it comes up, it's pulling air in through the intake, through the reeds, in, Okay, it's pulling it in, and then as it goes down, it's compressing the bottom end. Well, you're not going to compress the bottom end if you've just created a straw. Okay, that air is going to come up, that air and fuel is going to come up through that boost port and out this straw and out the exhaust. I almost want to run it like that with the regular wrist pin and see, do you think the saw would even run? That'd be kind of interesting. It would definitely run lean, and you'd have to, I mean, I don't even think a saw would run like that. This one might though, because it is a reed saw, but why try, friends? So the question is, did I make a mistake or am I onto something? Did I do that on purpose? Did I foresee the issue? And the answer is yes, friends. I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to be a bunch of work to fix, but I did fix it because, well, I wanted to do this. So, a saw that has transfer ports on the sides and is a lay-down cylinder or etc. will often have either a solid wrist pin or a capped wrist pin. Homelights have this very problem. Homelights will actually cap the wrist pin, okay? Homelights, most of them, if you pull them apart, they have a blocked off wrist pin on both sides. Seems to be a thing. You don't see that on modern saws. Now, anyways, friends, what did I do? Well, I took a wrist pin. I machined out of tool steel. I machined a small plug that's about, okay, I made a plug this long, slid it in, and made sure it was just an interference fit. I don't want it to be too tight because what will happen is I could swell this out and it'll end up not fitting, especially as everything heats up, okay? I don't want it to swell out and damage the piston. I mean, who knows? That thing could swell enough to crack this. So I didn't want that. So what I did was, friends, I machined it and finished it with 600 grit sandpaper until I could just push it in there with my finger, you know, or even a brass mallet so that it's not too tight, but tight enough that you'd have to make it go in, okay? And then what I did was I put about this much in, okay? I did ream this just a hair. I reamed half of this wrist pin to about here. Just a hair, friends. I mean thousandths, so that I'd have clean metal, and then I pushed that plug in, but only a plug that's about this deep, okay? Once I got it in that far and I knew it was straight, I cut it off. I took a punch and a mallet and I went tap, 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 tap until it was about this far, okay, in. I then took an old piston, okay, and I inserted this in there, okay, made sure the piston was cool and used that as a heat sink. And also, I figure if this thing was going to warp and deform, it should stay round if it's in the piston when I'm welding it, okay? Now, that was easy to do in this one because these have standard wrist pins, okay? This is a, what, 12 millimeter, 10 millimeter? You guys know I think it's a 12 millimeter. This is the regular wrist pin that, you know, 372s in that half. I took an OEM wrist pin and made sure it was going to fit in this piston, okay? And then I put it in a holding jig, a device, and I tacked it, okay? One tack weld, let it cool down. One tack weld on the other end, let it cool down. One on the top, okay? And tacked it. 1, 2, 3, 4, let it cool. One here, let it cool. One there, let it cool. And I just built it up until it's completely flush. And you can see I got decent penetration. I didn't want this to be so hot that okay, you can see there. Okay, I didn't want this to be so hot that I changed the temper of this. So literally, one tack weld, walk away. One tack weld, walk away. And I did that. This took me over an hour, friends. Okay, now it is cold outside, so I could run it outside and let it cool down. Okay, and I did that, and I just machined it off until I ended up with that. Okay, and you can see if you blow into it, it's completely. I actually put my blowgun in there with some rubber and tried to depressurize it. Okay, on the inside there, all you can see is the back side of the plug. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. But the back side of the plug is there. Okay, so now when we put this in right here, okay, here's our machined piston. Exhaust is this way. I'm going to leave the exhaust side open just like normal. And again, nothing has changed. The piston in this thing is, the wrist pin was always fairly loose. It is what it is. Okay. I always warm my saws up. I'm going to make sure I warm this thing up really good before I cut with it. And again, friends, this thing might blow up. Don't hold your breath too much on this one. I'm just horsing around because it's fun. And why not? It's wintertime. Watch this. Okay, so now what we have, and you can research, I'm pretty sure aircraft used to do this. They'd put like a plastic plug in the end. Okay, that would wear slightly. We can't do that in this case. As you guys can see, that is now plugged. You can't see the transfer port. Okay, which is right in there. Okay, so that's where we're at. Okay, so and then all I did, friends, I just made sure I measured this, and I made sure that it was the same length as the stock one. Now, the question is this going to work? I don't know. I mean, it's welded. I don't think I changed the temper of this wrist pin. It's still super hard. Okay. When I put a file to it, I only went through a little bit right there. So, okay, I welded just hot enough to get enough penetration, but not so much to warp this thing. And I think I achieved what I needed. There's a few little specks there, but they don't go through. And I'm just going to leave this thing like this, okay? And it's really the only way I could see to do it, unless you have some kind of fancy epoxy. You can't, I don't think you could drill and tap one of these if you didn't have a lathe. Even if you had a lathe, these things are pretty hard. It would be difficult to do this and actually, you know, get the tap to bite. So that's what I did, friends. Okay. And for those of you, before we wrap this video up, I don't want this to be too long. Right here, friends. Before I put new batteries in this, and it seems to be moving and grooving a little bit better. Okay, 21 grams. This is the same wrist pin, okay? Okay, friends. I made sure they weigh the same. Yes, this one's a little heavier on one side. Okay, it's about a gram difference. That's not going to change anything. And, well, I have a plan for this piston. Okay, friends, so when you put this thing all together with the piston, which is only 80 grams, that's pretty light. Okay, I like to keep things, you know, 100 grams or less. And, again, if you guys are curious, a P50 piston with wrist pin. Okay, there's your difference between a big saw and a smaller saw. Okay, so again, friends, don't try this at home unless you're willing to toss some parts. I'm always willing because it's good fun. Okay, so we're right where we need to be. We're about a gram difference. Okay, friends. Again, there's the other one. Okay, let's wrap this one up. Well, I hope you guys learned something there. Pay attention to how everything works. I plan to do this from day one. And good eye. Those of you guys that notice that, good eye, you know what's going on in a two-stroke. And I was curious to see if anybody would catch it. I made sure I filmed right through, and quite a few of you guys did. That's good. I like to see that, and just good to see that other people are into these things like I am. It's a fun hobby, but it's silly when you explain to somebody, they're like, what do you do? Well, I make chainsaws go fast in my, in my shed. And they're like, yeah, that's not weird. Okay. So anyhow, friends, good times. I'm comfy being me. I know it's strange to a lot of people, but to me, this is just what we do, right? I like to make things go fast. Okay, next video, I want to talk about feeding that boost port and what I want to do to this saw now, or this piston. I think we can, well, stay tuned until the next video, friends. I think we can modify this piston even more and really get this piston light and try and see if we can make this thing sketchy, and hopefully it'll hold together. But we need to feed this boost port a little bit better. Otherwise, it's only getting fed from this little bottom spot here, and it's not a ton. I think we can do better. So stay tuned, friends. Thanks for watching. Take her easy, and I'll see you in a couple days. Later.